Yo, 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 back again. I'm Brandon,
And I'm Deandra.
and we are just excited to be back podcasting. And we missed y'all. You miss them?
I did. I missed y'all a little bit. But before we go any further, it's been a minute. Welcome back to pulling my handicap card because you
My
did
bad.
not introduce us.
My bad.
So, for those of you who haven't tuned in before, hi, hello, welcome. And for
What's
those who are
up?
joining us again, welcome back.
So today we are going to just kind of review these last 2 years. I think it's been about 2 years since we dropped a serious podcast. Give you guys just a little update on like how life's been going, um, and the new things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think where we left off, you guys had heard about Alaska. We're back. We're no longer in Alaska. We have actually traveled a couple states before or since Alaska. So where you want to start, babe? Like what we giving the peoples?
Okay, I feel like we touched on this one just random podcast, but for me, I feel like it was a lot of naysayers about Alaska. My breast thing.
No.
You just kind of gave me your
I'm
breast thing.
I'm trying to look in the camera and still engage with you because I feel like you're talking towards me and I feel like I'm being rude by looking in the camera.
Look at the camera, them your folks.
Okay.
So, back to what I was saying, I guess. I feel like we posted a podcast about our experience in Alaska, and I feel like people may have had their feelings about it at the beginning and how it was just terrible, it was a dumb idea or whatever. But I kind of enjoyed Alaska, and I mean, I don't see how being there when the ice and snow came, because it got real, and the deer and the moose and all that. It was kind of, but I think those 3 months really gave us time to create our bond, kind of like get away from our families and just be us. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like before we left to go to Alaska, we were us, but I think Alaska really put like the solidification in everything and made our love a little. It went to the next level. I think we didn't have anybody in our ears. We can unplug from the world. We had nobody that could just pull up, and voice their opinion or whatever. Everybody had to call, and we were 6 hours ahead. So if you called at the right time, you got us, and if you didn't, you didn't.
I agree. I definitely feel like Alaska kind of set the foundation truly for our marriage and allowed us to grow how we wanted to grow. Not that we let anyone interfere when we were back home in Huntsville, because we definitely didn't, but it was different. Like Brandon said, it was almost like living in another country. We couldn't get up and go visit mom, or we couldn't get up and go hang out with our close friends. Like, we had to be locked in. If our relationship was not in a good space, I feel as though Alaska would have broken us. Thank God that wasn't the case for us. But I do feel like it really set the ground because we also couldn't get up and drive to Atlanta 3 hours away. For us to go somewhere, we had to catch a flight. Flights out of Alaska were not cheap. So, it really gave us time to solidify our bond and figure out who Brandon and Deandra, who the Thomases really were with no outside influences. So I think it was I can't think of the word right now, but it was amazing for our relationship. And it just set us up and took us further, even to the place that we are today. So I'm very grateful for Alaska. Although we did not stay the 6 months that we planned, I think Alaska was necessary. I think it was definitely an intentional move by God for us. And I'm grateful for it. Now, I did not love Alaska personally, but I understand the purpose in us going to Alaska.
Do you think that going back, if you guys have time, go back and watch us? We're moving, or whatever it
Something
was
like
called.
that, yeah.
Go back and watch those, and y'all tell us what you think. I mean, whatever. I'm sorry, I just threw it out. But do you think everything that we kind of set out to do as far as Alaska, besides staying the 6 months, do you think you got done?
What did we set out to do?
we set out to take our family to the next level. We set out to basically just establish us and kind of get away, I think. I mean, and it was my way of showing, me and being the independent Brandon that I wanted to be.
Yeah, definitely. So what I will say is I think Alaska helped us reach some personal goals individually, but for me the biggest thing was in our relationship. So just I'm gonna just be real with y'all because that's what we do, right? So I am a very independent person. I've always made my own money. I've always just been super independent. And I think going into our marriage, I was still holding on to that independence, that strong woman. Very much so still needed my husband, but I felt like I had it. When we got to Alaska, Babe told me I could quit my job, and I did. So I became a stay-at-home wife. I didn't really have any income. And so what Alaska did for me was allowed me to like relinquish all control and allow him to lead and be my husband and to truly be the leader of our family. And that wasn't an easy process for me necessarily. But I think it definitely set us up for where we are today. And so to me, it was a beautiful experience. It was almost like God was proving to me that I'm sorry, I'm an IH. God was proving to me that this is your husband. I gave him to you for a reason. Allow him to be your husband. Trust that he can lead. Trust that he can, do all these things. And baby, he did just that. So I don't know. You my big daddy now, but yeah. No, for real. Like, yeah. So I think that was like the biggest thing for me. And it taught me how to be a better wife. Like sometimes we only have a limited view. And being at home, being a stay-at-home wife, it just allowed me, I think, to let my hair down and not have to worry about going to work, performing at work, doing all these things because I'm such an overachiever. It allowed me to try to be an overachiever at home. Like instead of putting all that focus on things outside of the house, I was able to be like, well, today I want to make Babe a home cooked meal when he get home from work, or you know what I'm saying, little things like that. And so I think I try to carry those things into our marriage now.
And you do an amazing job at it. In Alaska, you did an amazing job. Like I didn't feel like, oh my God, like I'm working, I'm the only one working. Like I felt like, you were really trying to help me fulfill my dreams of traveling and just be a great wife. So I appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you, babe. But I must say, y'all, it wasn't an easy journey. It was definitely some self-discovery for me, and he's being very nice. But I had some days where I was disappointed in myself because I would look up, he's been at work all day, he gets home, and I had not cooked dinner. Now, granted, I would make up for it by, let's go grab dinner. But, it really, and not to say that he was requiring me to have him dinner made. Y'all, please read in between the lines. But I'm just saying it was definitely some self-discovery for me and some time for me to learn how to be a better wife to my husband, not just what someone has told me a wife should be, but helping me to learn my husband without, like I said, those outside influences, and learn what he needs, what makes him thrive, what makes our household thrive. So yeah, it was definitely a good space for me, I think, to do a lot of learning and self-reflection.
But I wasn't tripping. I mean, when you did not cook, most of the times we got to explore Alaska and eat,
true.
Dang, what's the name of that dang old animal?
Not reindeer, caribou or yak.
Yak.
Yeah.
Yak. I got to try yak. I got to, the reindeer hot dogs.
Yeah.
The bear, the moose, like, it was a special thing. So I mean, I did not mind going out to eat.
Yeah, but again, those are just things for me, I'm saying, and it has helped me now kind of have some routines within the house. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay, so from there, the next place was Virginia, and the company that I
hold on, I don't think we can skip to Virginia without talking about the 2 months that we came home, because I think those 2 months were very crucial as well.
Well, go ahead.
So we decided that we were going to leave Alaska, which was a whole trek in itself. Like we're going to have to do a whole nother episode just about how many hours did it take us? 30 something hours.
I think it was like 36
hour cross country drive home.
And I think I made it a little longer. in
And that's
Chicago.
okay. Yeah. But that's a whole nother conversation. That was a whole nother experience. Something else that I think really made our marriage rock solid. God really loved us because there's some people who would have went through some of our experiences and would not have made it out.
And you know, the crazy thing is, like, we did not really fight. Like, of course, you know, we had a little couple like spats or whatever.
Yeah.
You're driving too fast, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But you were driving really slow on that road. But anyway, that just brought that flashback in my head.
Next episode.
Yeah, but yeah, I forgot where I was going with that, y'all. But Alaska was okay, and then like the next thing, coming home, coming home was it was cool, but it made me like realize that I really didn't want to be here.
Okay, so do you want to talk about it? Like,
let's go.
No, I'm saying like what? Like, tell us more.
So the reason I just did not want to be here, I didn't feel like I had a connection with my family. I didn't feel like it's just the jobs, like where I work, like it was the same little circle. I just did not feel like I was going to be successful here in Huntsville.
Okay. So I would say, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think every time we made a move was a major turning point in our marriage, and it could have changed the trajectory. Because if you guys remember, when we first started talking about going to Alaska, we were on two different pages. I didn't want to go, and I was supposed to be staying home. I wasn't supposed to travel with him to Alaska. He was supposed to go for 6 months. I would go help him set up and come back home. That obviously changed. I flew with him. Coming back home, we also faced some tough challenges on what's next. Brandon had a job offer in San Antonio, Texas. He had a job offer in Virginia. And we had the option to stay home and just try to launch into full-time entrepreneurship. And we explored all three options to the fullest. So coming home, I think, was kind of like that breather we needed to figure out our next route. Because, I mean, we could have went so many different directions and things would have looked totally different. And also during that time, I don't know how transparent you want to get, but we found out some very serious news that we weren't expecting during that time. So are we sharing or?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, these are people.
So, I mean, picture this. We come home, right? We're trying to decide, what are we doing next? What's next in our life? We decide, hey, let's try for a baby. We go. You didn't think that's where I was going?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So we go to the doctor. We're trying for a baby, and we basically find out that we're going to have to actively go through some infertility treatments. And for me, it was devastating. I remember sitting. I'm not gonna cry. Maybe I am. I remember sitting in the doctor's office, and I was just like bawling. And Brandon was like, babe, it's going to be okay. And I was just kind of like, no, it's not. So that was like a major turning point for us. We just had so much going on. So ultimately, we decided that we were going to move to
Virginia.
Yeah.
We decided, but back to touch on, and we'll do a full documentary. We'll do a full podcast on the infertility journey. But going back to it, I did not really. It's so sad to say, but with me having spina bifida, I don't know what the hell gonna happen. So I never really put my all into something because I know that things can change with my situation. And I mean, don't cry.
No, I'm good. I just wanted you to talk for a second so I can pull it together.
It didn't faze me. Yes, it hurt a little bit because I think it was kind of like a 50-50 situation at that point on the fertility issue. But when it comes to anything in the medical field, I'm numb to it. So, yeah. Anyway, so we decided to move to Virginia. Virginia was cool. They worked me to death in Virginia. I was working 6 days a week sometimes. That paycheck looked real nice.
Yeah, Virginia to me was dope. I enjoyed it a little bit more than Alaska. We were still 10 hours away from home, but me and Babe was here that highway up to get home. But there was still so many challenges in Virginia, I feel. Brandon's mom went through a major surgery and had complications. My mom went through a major surgery and had complications. Almost, they were either having surgery at the same time,
real close,
or as your mom was finally starting to heal, my mom was going into surgery and experiencing her complications.
Stressing us out.
It was really hard to hear our moms calling, basically saying, I need you, or, I'm in pain, I'm hurting, I need this thing, I need that, and we can't pick up and physically be there. So we traveled back and forth home a lot during that time. But at the same time, I think those things kind of drew us to, oh, do we need to move back home? But at the same time, I think we were really enjoying life in Virginia. I think we got more comfortable in Virginia than we did in Alaska.
Yep.
We had a dope apartment that we really, really enjoyed.
Yep. And DC was up the street, and I had cousins and family, and my sister, my aunt came up to visit us. I mean, it was all right.
Yeah, we were finally starting to establish a life for ourselves. We had built routines, we had friends, not a ton of friends, but we had friends. We were both doing very well in our careers. At this point, I had decided to go back to work. It was just going really, really well. But there were still some things like tugging on us at home. My grandmother's getting older. And then we still have this situation of the infertility that's still very much so on the table. And how do we navigate that process 10 hours away from home? If we are lucky enough to get pregnant, where's our support system come in at? So there was a lot going on, but I definitely say we enjoyed ourselves in Virginia. We had a lot of fun. And I think we just even further solidified Brandon and DeAndre as far as our marriage. Like, I think it just got doper and doper and doper.
I got to take a step back though.
Okay.
And to take a step back to get you guys to our upcoming podcast. So before we left, I got some braces that were out of the norm for me. So they were full length leg braces, and they're KFOs, right? AFOs are the ankle.
Yes, so KFOs. These came up to his hips.
So that was out the norm for me. Yeah, I told the doctor that I did not want those, but he assured me like, yo, if you don't get these, you won't be walking, blah, blah, blah. You're going to tear it up, whatever. So.
It's just the motion sensor.
So with that being said, that's a key part to the future to come. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to have y'all, in suspense.
So anything else you want to share about our experience in Virginia? Like, was there anything significant?
I got a dope millionaire friend out of it.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yep, dope millionaire friend out of it. We went to our first cattle show.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little more deep into the cigar world, which me and my guys will be doing a podcast about that. Be on the lookout. And I think, my wife was my best friend from the start, but I think like Virginia, Alaska really made solidified our friendship over anything else.
I would agree. I really think Virginia was somewhat of a glimpse of the world that God has for us. And the reason I say that is because some of the experiences that we had, so from the people and the connections that we made and where they were in life, Brandon got to sit in, what's the name of that car?
Got to sit in the Rolls Royce Phantom.
His dream car. So some of the things that we experienced, I feel like were just God winks. God saying, just keep going. I got y'all. Everything's going to be okay. In Virginia, he and I both collectively and individually made the most money we've ever made. So it was a great time. So making the decision to come home was not an easy one like it was for me in Alaska. And Alaska, I was like, let's go. Virginia was like, what do we do? Do we go? Do we stay? Do we stay? Do we
She
go?
was so ready to leave Alaska. I didn't even finish my contract. But my contract was up on like a Tuesday. On Monday, we was out of there.
We out of there. But in Virginia, I was advancing in my career. I had the opportunity to try and go for like a high level clearance, even higher than Brandon's. I didn't go through the process because I ended up coming home. But it was just some dope stuff. So I had a dope boss. I wasn't having stresses on the job. How did we make the decision? Like, what made us come on home?
So I'm 35, and we had been talking about kids more. We done named kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, DeAndre, my mom, first of all, we came home for like a weekend. My mom started crying on me, talking about she needed me home. And I think that was the first thing. And then DeAndre's mom would call me every weekend and be like, bring my baby home. So those were some of the things. And then I was like, well, DeAndre, if we go home, we focus on fertility.
Yeah.
We don't focus on anything else but fertility and this fertility journey. And yes, we have been slacking up, but we'll tell you guys why in the next one. But do you want to go into it? We're on 20 minutes, so we probably need to cut this.
We can wrap up and do another one. Yeah.
So that I think the fertility was the main reason why we decided to come home.
Yeah, that I would say that was definitely the driving factor. Like Brandon said, both of us getting older, not really wanting to start that process up there because there's a lot of things to think about, a lot of moving pieces and parts. And it's like, do we start this in Virginia? Because I know me, I'm like, I don't want to deliver up here with no one. I mean, we had his aunt, but I'm like, if we're gonna do this, I need that support system. So that was the driving factor. And now we are officially home. We have been home now it's been 2 years.
We came home at the end of 2023.
Yeah, so it's been a year and a couple of months because we opened the business. Yeah. So we've been home for a little over a year now. Honestly, I think it was what we needed to do. No? Okay. Well, we'll catch up in part 2. Peace.